a memory without a face. I grew up with my father. Every time I say those words, something stirs quietly inside me, as if it's not just a simple sentence, but a short version of years of pain, unanswered questions, and unspoken feelings. My mother left us when I was very young, so young that I do not remember her face. Sometimes people ask, don't you at least have a photo of her? I give a faint smile and shake my head. No photos, no memories, only absence, a deep, cold emptiness. My father was a man of few words. There was always a trace of tiredness and silence in his eyes. He loved me deeply. I could feel it, but he showed his love through actions, not words. He would wake me up in the mornings, prepare, walk me to school, come home exhausted in the evening and still cook dinner. Sometimes he would just stop in the kitchen, standing still with a spoon in his hand, staring into the distance. I knew he was thinking about my mother, but he never spoke about her, and I never asked. Maybe I was afraid. Maybe I didn't want to know. My childhood was not like others. At school, whenever there was a Mother's Day event, I would stand at the very back. Other children went on stage, reciting poems to their mothers, their eyes shining. I never went up. One day my teacher came to me and said, you should go to recite a poem. I lowered my head and said, I don't have a mother. She fell silent, then gently touched my head and walked away. That evening, for the first time, I asked my father, where is my mother? He was quiet for a long time. Then, Isai se left. Where? I don't know. He didn't answer that question. But that night, I remember he sat outside alone for a long time. Years passed. He grew older, but my questions grew with me. Sometimes I would look at myself in the mirror and feel like a stranger. Whose eyes do I have? What about my smile? My head, is it hers or my father's? I felt incomplete, as if there was an empty space inside me, one that could never be filled. One day, I was searching through an old chest. My father wasn't home. Inside were old clothes, documents, yellowed papers, and at the very bottom, a small envelope. My heart began to race. Primera, opened Italiano. Inside was a photograph. A woman. She was beautiful. Deep eyes, a gentle gaze, a soft smile on her lips. I stared at the photo, and suddenly, something shifted inside me, as if that empty space had finally found a voice. Is this my mother? I looked at the mirror, and for the first time, I felt like I belonged to someone. When my father came home, I showed him the photo. His face turned pale. Where did you find this? Oscar. In the chest. He stared at it for a long time, then slowly sat down. Yes, he said at last. That is your mother. I stayed silent. 1,000 questions burned inside me. Why did she leave? I finally asked. He took a deep breath. Because she was unhappy with us. He shook his head. No. With herself. That night, for the first time, he told me everything. My mother was a free spirit. She dreamed of traveling, seeing new places, but early marriage, responsibility, having a child, It all suffocated her from within. Se loved me, but she couldn't find herself. And one day, she left without saying anything, without explaining. I didn't sleep that night. I lay there holding her photo, staring at Italia. Why did you leave me? That question kept echoing in my heart, but this time something else came with it. Something close to understanding. More years passed. He grew up. I began to think not like a child, but like an adult. I realize life is not always simple. Sometimes people leave not because they're bad, but because they are lost. Sometimes love is not enough. Sometimes people run from themselves. One day, I made a decision to find my mother. It wasn't just about finding her. It was about finding myself. I followed her traces. Documents, old acquaintances, cities. It wasn't easy, but that emptiness inside me kept pushing me forward. And finally, Primera found her. She was living in a small town. Her hair had turned gray, but her eyes, they were the same, deep, just like in the photograph. I knocked on the door. She opened Italiano, and we just looked at each other. She didn't recognize me at first, but I recognized her immediately because I was a part of her. You, she whispered. Primera, sua, load. I am your daughter. Her eyes widened, and then we talked for a long time. She apologized over and over again. She said she had never forgiven herself. And I didn't know if I had forgiven her or not, but I understood one thing. I was no longer a memory without a face. Now I knew who I was. When I returned home, my father was waiting. Did you find her? Ask it. Primera, not dead. What is she like? I thought for a moment, then Primera, sa, even. She's human. My father smiled softly, and for the first time, I saw the weight in his eyes lighten. Now, when I look in the mirror, I don't feel like a stranger. Say, myself, my father's patience, my mother's dreams, and my own path. Some questions still remain. Some wounds are not fully healed, but now I know. Sometimes people lose themselves, but if they find the courage, they can find their way back. Primera, until this time I will never abandon myself.